everyone, it's Braylon and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am a kindergarten through third grade special education teacher. I am more of a self-contained teacher, which I know every state is different. And if you've not seen any of my other videos, then I'll clue you in that for the 2020-2021 school year, wow, that's a mouthful, I will be teaching in person, but I will have some students occasionally that will be online doing remote learning. Because of this, I have really been digging deep into how to make remote learning accessible for students who have some more significant needs. And I've been trying to figure out the best way to manage behavior. If you missed my last video, I talked a lot about my virtual classroom. I talked about Google Sites and Seesaw, Google Classroom, and all of the differences with that and how people can use that for special education. And I got a lot of great feedback from that video, but the main question that I kept getting was, but what about behavior? Like, how do I translate managing behavior into a remote setting? Honestly, that's a great question, and I'm still trying to figure it out myself. So I don't feel like I have all the answers, but I wanted to make a video kind of talking about some of the things that we can put in place in our classroom, our remote or virtual classroom, in order to better support behaviors. So the first thing is that behaviors are definitely going to happen. The one difference is that they're not going to happen in your literal vicinity. They're going to happen on the computer during a Zoom lesson, or they're going to happen at their home and the parent is going to relay that information to you. And so I think the best thing is just to start by building incredible relationships with caregivers and parents and guardians. That takes intentional work. That means calling them for good things, sending out Google Forms, asking for feedback. That means, taking a little bit of time at the beginning of a one-on-one Zoom call to just check in with them and see how they're doing. One thing that my school did last year was we actually had like this behavior consultation time. So we would leave a gap of time open. I think it was like 2 days a week. And me and the teacher in the BCBA would just be on the call. And if parents wanted to log on, they could ask their questions, or they could talk to other parents on this call if there were multiple families on it. And it was really great. We were also able to hear, about the behaviors happening at home. We could then say, oh, you know what? We have this PDF of this great visual. Do you have a printer? We'll send it to you. Or we'll send you this virtual thing, or we'll send you a digital timer just so you can have it. One thing I wish that we did that we didn't really do was to be really intentional about teaching stuff before anything happens. So to teach parents about, how to prompt, how to offer rewards, how to use token economy, how to, break up a task or task analysis, and really take the time to teach the guardians and parents who are open to it how to do some of that behavior stuff from home. We clearly have those things for a reason, and so relaying that information to parents is so key. I think it also kind of goes along with scheduling. I don't understand how some school districts think that they can take the exact schedule of in-person and translate it to remote. It just isn't going to work. I think being really careful and intentional about how you schedule things. So I don't know about you, but most of my students can't do more than 15 minutes. So I'm not going to plan an hour lesson. I may plan 15 minutes and then assign different tasks, and then maybe another 15 minutes in a couple hours. But obviously use the guidelines of your school. Honestly, getting burnt out and being on screens for a long period of time each day is probably going to contribute to some behavior challenges. I think along with that is having engaging lessons. I feel like if you're just having the same monotonous, boring lesson again and again and not using anything multisensory, then you're definitely going to get some behaviors at home that are going to affect the parents and the guardians and the caregivers. So making sure you're using a lot of different methods. If you're on Zoom, sharing your screen, showing a video, using Nearpod, doing some sort of group activity, anything, like literally anything. Maybe you need a puppet, maybe, I don't know, you need a mask, something to keep the engagement up, because that is definitely a way you're going to lose kids and the behaviors are going to start happening. And oftentimes as humans, any human, if something is boring, we're going to associate it with that. So if being on the computer, looking at my teacher and my friends at school is becoming monotonous and boring, even before the activity even starts, a behavior could happen because we've already associated boredom with this activity time. Some other things you can do, I mean, in our classrooms, we already know this stuff. I mean, we could use token boards, which you can use ones in person, which I actually have this little fake one that I had. This is a freebie. I'll link it down below. It's from somebody random. But using something like this while you're teaching one-on-one, or I feel like it's really important to talk about like the rules of the time or have some sort of schedule. Actually, there's an incredible product by my friend Kelsey at Exceptional Elementary. I will link that down below. It's a slide where you can add a first and a then it also has like a timer embedded. Ooh, you can purchase that and support her and use it in your virtual classroom. I actually have a freebie where it's a digital like sticker chart slash a small token board like that, but it's compatible with Google Slides, so you're gonna need to be able to access that. But I will also link it down below because maybe you can share your screen, and as you're working with one student, then you can just give them a token and kind of make it like what we would have had in the classroom. I think also a big thing if you're using Zoom or you're using, Google Meet is not just having you in the session. So say it's you and a couple students, having your paraprofessional there as well, like utilizing them, because as you're teaching, maybe they can be, looking and observing the students and how they're acting and their behavior. You can also kind of gauge the engagement of it all. They could also be taking data for you if they're trying to take like small time samplings or maybe just some anecdotal notes. Utilizing your staff on the side is really, really helpful. Also, a big thing is like you can just mute everybody or turn off their cameras if that's most helpful for you. That's a big way. I know in the classroom a lot of times if a behavior happens on the side, it affects everybody else because it gets loud, it gets distracting. But on Zoom, all you have to do is mute that kid and it's no longer a problem. And then when they're calmed down, you can unmute them and they can continue. I think like the biggest thing that I've been like reflecting on, not just like telling you guys, but trying to utilize it for myself, is that this year is going to look so different. And I feel like I say this in every video, and I'm giving myself a lot of grace in that I'm going to be trying my hardest, planning as much as I can, and trying to utilize as many visuals as possible in a correct way. Okay, we're not overwhelming kids, but that even with all of that, this is just a completely different mode of teaching than I've ever seen. And so behaviors are going to happen. My IEP goals, my progress reports, and how I, report on behavior and behavior data might look a little bit different, and that's okay. If you have had really amazing success with other types of behavior management while doing remote learning or virtual learning, please leave a comment down below because I can pin those comments and then everyone else can see your comments as well, and it might be able to help some people. But right now we're all kind of in the same boat where we're working through this, we're trying to figure it out, we're trying to manage behavior the best way we can, and it's gonna look different for every kid and it's gonna look different for every classroom. But hopefully something in this video was helpful for you. You guys are just so supportive, so amazing. I love this community of educators because we just get to learn from each other, and I definitely don't know everything. And so we're all collaborating together, and I think it's so beautiful and so wonderful. So thank you for watching this video and supporting me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!